Hey, how's it going? What? Oh, this? Yeah, that happened. I don't I don't want to talk about it. No. No, I don't really want to talk about it. Yeah, it's a mustache. Yeah. Yeah, I shaved the other day. It's a mustache. We're not going to talk about it. We're just, you know what? Let's just, yeah, you're right. Yep. Let's start the podcast. Okay. What's up, all you doodles and doodlers out there, you schemers and dreamers? How you doing? Welcome back to Doodle Talk, episode 6, brought to you live from Tokyo, Japan. Yeah, I have a mustache right now. That happened. I was just shaving the other day, and my beard was pretty long, and got down to the part where I was gonna shave my mustache, and I thought, you know what? It's been about 5 years or so since I've rocked just the stash, so let's do it. Let's have some fun. Life's too short not to have a little fun. You know, I think the old saying is life's too short not to rock a mustache, so I gotta abide by those wise words of wisdom there. But yeah, welcome back to episode 6. Chugging along, feels good. It feels like I've been doing these for like 3 months already, even though it's, I guess, coming up almost on 2 months. But yeah, episode 6, let's do it. So keeping up with me, what I've been up to lately, keeping up with the Sam Dashians. I don't think that's gonna stick. But yeah, what I've been up to recently, same old. I've been working on a lot of stuff, art stuff. Working on a lot of these podcasts have taken up a lot of my time, and I'm about to be like currently caught up to where I'm gonna be posting them basically either like the day out, within like a day or two of recording them. So it's gonna be a lot more current, and I think I'm gonna enjoy that too, because I did have a few kind of like banking up before I release them, and that was nice to have the kind of little buffer period. But some of them are a little time sensitive with some of the topics that I talk about, or like shows or movies that I sometimes want to talk about. So I think having it release a little bit closer to the actual date is going to be better. And then this episode, like the last one, is going to be shorter, if not even shorter. Just going to keep it short and sweet and simple and see how that goes. I think the long form ones are cool. The long form podcasts are cool. But it's just a lot of work, a lot of editing, and I'm not sure if everyone's going to be watching the whole thing. So, and this way, maybe I could do like one or two a week. I could maybe start doing like multiple like shorter ones. And I mean, look, it's still like 20 to 40 minutes, so that's not like super short by any means, but I just can't do like 50 minutes to an hour for right now, just with like my work schedule and trying to stay on top of everything. But yeah, I also have I have a little story time for you guys today. So it's like story time, but also just a general thing, like a little Japan thing that happened recently. So we kind of moved recently to a new apartment within. So I live within the prefecture of Tokyo. I don't really want to dox myself or anything. Not that it probably matters too much, but yeah. So, but I recently moved. We moved to a slightly bigger city, and like kind of around from our apartment, there's this shop where they sell like mostly rice, but they sell kerosene as well. So if you have like the kerosene stoves, which we just got one this year, and it's so amazing. We have an air conditioner unit up on the wall, but it gets so dry. Like Japan is already, during the winter, Japan gets so freaking dry. Like it's crazy. I've never, like, my knuckles and my hands get really red, and I've never needed to like use lotion before, like mostly growing up in Texas. It gets pretty dry there too, like around Dallas area, but man, Japan is on a whole nother level. It's like a swamp during the summer, and like the most arid, cold, dry place ever during the winter, at least like Tokyo and up further north as well. But yeah, so I needed to go get some actually rice and kerosene, toyu. I think that's kerosene. It's the oil that you use for the stove, like the the heater, you know. So I went to go pick that up, and at the store, it's run by this like sweet little old grandma and grandpa, or well, you know, I think of them as a grandma and grandpa, but a sweet little old lady and this old guy. And I don't know what it is about Japan, but it's like wherever you go, at least for me in my experiences, wherever you go, you like run into these people where it's like they're like the nicest people. Like it's straight up like out of an anime. Like if you know like those, I don't know, those scenes where it's like the nice old grandma comes with like some cookies and like gives them food, or like the wise old grandpa gives them like a pep talk or something like that. It's straight up exactly like that. And I went to go get some kerosene and rice the other day, and this old lady was just like asking me you know, how long I've been in Japan, where am I from. I told her like America, and she's like, you know, of course you get the Nihongo Jozu. If you use Japanese at all in Japan, for people who like aren't really expecting it, they tell you like, oh my gosh, your Japanese is so good. And it's like it feels good sometimes, and then other times it's like, I've been here for a very long time. Like my Japanese better be like pretty good, otherwise, you know, like I would feel bad, or like it'd be an inconvenience to the people that I'm like around and stuff, you know. But yeah, nothing too crazy. I don't have anything like too specific, but it was just awesome. And old ladies are like the coolest little nicest people on earth, especially in Japan. It actually kind of reminded me of that like Texas Southern hospitality. So I think that's partly why I like it too, because it's like kind of makes you feel like you're back at home. Like there's a lot of different kinds of people in Texas, but there's a lot of really nice people in Texas too. And in Japan, a lot of people are kind of like closed off and secluded, keep to themselves, at least like in Tokyo. And like meeting someone who like perks up when they see you, or like, you know, we were just like having a conversation for 5 minutes before I left, and that kind of thing is awesome. And you don't get it every day in Japan. So shout out to the old lady and the old guy who live down the street from me and have a awesome rice store where you can also get kerosene, you know. Shout outs to you guys. You're the best. Keep it up. I'll see you around, you know. See you around. Yeah. And besides that, the only other kind of thing that's been going on recently is, besides these podcasts that I've been putting up on YouTube, which it feels good to just like post videos. In the past, I've tried to think of like ideas for like to be consistently posting to YouTube and stuff, and it's a daunting task. So knowing that I have these podcasts coming out intermittently, like once or twice a week at least, makes me feel good. It's like, makes me feel like I'm, you know, it's not exactly art content, but we have like the time lapses and stuff like that. So you are seeing, it's still like art content related, and obviously what I'm talking about. But yeah, it just feels good to post that. And on top of those videos, I've been making kind of a different like variety of like short little skit videos, or little fun, little like jokey comedy videos, or just like little art videos and stuff. And I'm posting those as like reels on Instagram and on YouTube Shorts. So if you're here on my YouTube channel, go check those out. Or if you're watching this on Instagram, go check those out on my Instagram as well. They're both Studio Fudelio. So yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, it's really fun. And I know I talked about this before, but I'm really enjoying making these little skit kind of videos. So if you're interested, go check those out. They're really cool, and I want to keep making more of them. And I'm trying to figure out like kind of what niche, not even niche, but like what videos I like am able to make the best. Like there's a few that I've made where I'm like, ooh, I don't like, I'm kind of just testing this. I really don't even know if it's gonna work, or like if people actually think it's funny, or like that kind of stuff. So that's a little scary, but it's also really fun. It's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna make I got a kalimba the other day, and like the little wooden instrument that has like the little ping pong, like the metal things on there. And I know that was the best description ever. But I made some like music videos, basically like using it for music and stuff. And I know that's not like animation, illustration kind of thing, but music's a huge part of my life, and I'm gonna make videos about whatever I want to make. So it's fun to kind of just test those things out. Obviously, if something, you know, if people are enjoying one thing over another, I want to like kind of make that kind of content as well. But yeah, just wanted to give another quick little shout out to those because I'm having a lot of fun making them, and I want more people to watch them. Spread them around. Give it a share. Give it a like. Give it a comment. Do whatever. smash that like button on that Instagram reel. Nah. But for real, lots of fun, and I'm having a good time. So, yeah, that's about it for me. Keeping up with the Sam Dashians, recently. That's about all I got going on. So let's hop over to the main topic. Basically, the only topic for today's video. But yeah, let's go get started. Alright, so the main topic I want to talk about today is something that I call constructive jealousy, or like using your jealousy as a motivator for yourself. Because most of the time, jealousy leads us to being bitter or like unfairly comparing ourselves to other artists, other people, whatever it is, in all walks of life, all aspects of your own life. And my idea here is like, if you can learn how to use that jealousy as a motivator and leave your ego behind, it can actually make some great fuel for like your artistic fire and become a great motivator for you. I was thinking of this quote, I think Theodore Roosevelt said it. It's comparison is the thief of joy. And I really love that quote. Like, it makes a lot of sense. If you're comparing yourself to somebody in any way, like, you're not getting any joy. You may feel like if you're comparing yourself to someone and feel like you're doing better than them, it may feel like it's satisfactory, like you're getting some satisfaction out of that, or you're getting joy from that, but I really don't think you are. I think that's like wasted energy, and I don't know, unless that person like really screwed you over in the past and you just like need a little like pick me up of like, okay, I'm doing better than that person, or like, I don't know. In maybe small doses, like it's fine, especially if someone really screwed you over. But for the most part, I think like in almost every aspect, comparing yourself to others in a light that is like ultimately just gonna, especially if it's just gonna make you feel bad about yourself, that is literally the thief of joy, because you're not gonna get anything from it. And the only thing here is like, it's true on so many levels, right? But if you look at it not as like a comparison, but just like a little check to see where you're at and where you could be going, I think it takes it and it like puts it into a new light. And this is my idea here, is like taking comparison, which is essentially what's going to cause jealousy, right? Or make you envious of that person, cause envy or jealousy. And taking that and just like kind of turning it over and putting it into a new light, and like using that as motivation for yourself to do better or get better at something, or whatever it is, just like turning it from a negative concept into a positive concept. Because if you see someone with like 150,000 followers on Instagram or YouTube, or like 1 million subs on YouTube or something like that, and like if you could just get really jealous and be like, oh man, like I wish I had that, like I wish I could do that. But if you don't do that and you look at what they did to get to that point in a non-biased way, and leave your ego out of it, you're gonna learn from it. You can really study people who are successful in order to become successful yourself. And I know that's touted a lot as like a way to do it, but for artists especially, like what we need to do to study people, if you want to, like, outside of just like actually doing like study in art. So I mean, like if you have an artist that you love and they do really cool watercolor paintings, you get a picture of that painting and you like do a study of it, you practice it, there's all of that. And I'm kind of assuming you already are doing well enough on that front. And just looking at it in the aspect of comparison here, like when you study people as in terms of like branding themselves or making themselves a business, or like an artist that is famous, or like on the internet, like creating a name for yourself, right? You have to study like when people post, what are they posting, what kind of reactions are they getting from those posts, do they do long form or short form or both, do they stream on Twitch or YouTube, do they do Instagram live, how do they connect with their followers, are they making a newsletter, do they have a podcast that they put up on YouTube to kind of like talk through their processes and what they think about life and art in general? These are all things that you really need to study. And you can't be studying, you can't be paying attention to this while you're like holding on, while you have a chip on your shoulder and you're just like holding on to that like little seed of jealousy, because then you're not going to be looking at it pragmatically and you're not going to actually learn anything from it. And I say all this coming from like this is my opinion, this is what I think about all this stuff. In no way am I like the arbiter of truth on all this stuff, so take everything I say with a grain of salt if you'd like. But from what I've seen is like this is the best way to do it, you know, because once you know what to do, once you've done this studying, then comes probably even in the harder part, which is like taking what you've learned and taking like whatever plan you've made for yourself and kind of like making it work for your own content or your own art. Because once you know what to do, or once you know what other people do, implementing it in your own way that's not just copying them or like is actually going to be like proactive and helping you can be very difficult. You know, like if you're a Mr. Beast, if I look at Mr. Beast, I can learn things from him for sure, like on YouTube or whatever. But as an artist, mostly just doing art stuff, like it can only go so far. But I can see like how he creates an audience or how he gets reach or like how he reaches new audiences, etc., etc. But knowing how to cherry pick little things here and there and then like apply them to my own videos or like my own way of conducting myself as an artist, that's pretty difficult. And I think that also just comes with time, and that's where like trying things out comes in, you know. Like if you want to try a certain type of video or a certain type of content, like definitely go for it. If it doesn't work, like, oh well, it didn't work. But if you can figure out something from someone else that's gonna help you like be motivated to make something or like make you better as a person or like presenting yourself online, that's always a plus. But just know that yes, it's a rocky hill to climb, and if you sit down and study famous people or successful people all day, that's not going to automatically make you famous. So that's one thing you have to be careful of. This is where like jealousy kind of becomes an important factor, right? Because on the flip side of all this, it's like if you were never jealous or comparing yourself to anybody, you would never progress, or you would never be able to like realize your own progression. You know what I mean? Like if comparing yourself to you, if like comparing yourself to others becomes like toxic or like is doing more harm than help, then obviously like, yeah, it's not a good thing. But one thing you can do in that situation is like, if you're like, I'm off social media, I'm not looking at other artists or whatever, at the very least, you need to be comparing yourself to yourself, comparing yourself to your past self, your past work, and looking at it, seeing how much you've grown. And here's the key, is like analyzing it in a pragmatic way, because it's good to look back on some of your work and be like, I actually like that piece, or like, I actually like that song, like I'm glad I made that. Like those are far and few between, but you also need to be able to look back and be like, like I thought this was really good at the time, but now I can see like the proportions are terrible, or like I didn't color this right, or like, oh, I would change all of this, and like, you know, learning from that, and not just looking at it and beating yourself up, but like actually learning from that as well. Because, you know, I use this tip because like myself, I've fallen into the hole of like, man, this person's style is so cool, I wish I could draw like that. Or man, this person's stuff is so simple, how do they have like 10 million followers? Or like, dang, all they do is like a 3-second GIF loop animation, and they're like have 100k followers, and they're selling merch and all that stuff. And it's like, that mindset doesn't do anything for you. And like you'll realize after a while that like as you progress and then you look back at those people, you'll realize that like you're closer to them than you thought you were, or you're actually like you're digging your own style more now anyways. So like you can't just tie yourself up and get stuck in the mire of like the bog of jealousy, you know. Because the other important kind of like factor that this is all tied into, and why I brought up the point of like like giving it time and then looking back on things, you might still be jealous for sure. Like obviously, and that's happened to me before as well. So like I don't blame you if you like look back at someone or like look at your work after a year and then you look at your other favorite artists and you're like, oh shit, like I suck. I still suck. I'm still really jealous. I wish I could do XYZ. But here's the thing is like comparison and jealousy is all tied to like time, father time, you know. Well, good old father time. He inescapable. He just, you know, time changes everything, including past perspectives. So like what you like today could change tomorrow. So following your gut and going with your instinct is really key. I mean, like I've been saying a lot recently, don't wait, just start. That applies here too. That's super important. Because if you take the time to continue to be jealous about something, then you're not going to progress. So you just lost that time where you could have gotten a little bit closer, where you're like, oh, you know, like I think I'm catching up to this person, or like I think I'm getting better as an artist. Like you're gonna be missing those little steps along the way. And that's super important to get to that point where you do eventually look back, or you do eventually come to the realization that you're comfortable with your own style, or you're comfortable with the way you're doing things, your own art, the way you're making content. Because that realistically, like, right, that's what we want to get to as artists. Like, I know so many people where it's like, I want to find my own style. And that's something I struggle with like so much every day. And like to this day, it never goes away. And I wonder for some people who are great at being like consistent and have their own like unique style that's like undeniable, I'd really love to like talk to some of them and like pick their brain on like how they're able to stay consistent with the style. And like obviously I know like just practicing and forming your own style comes over time, but even as you form your own style, sometimes it doesn't feel like your own style. Even if other people can recognize your work and pick out your own style, for me at least, like I can see things that are reoccurring, definitely, but yeah, it's weird. It feels like I can never find my own style, and like sometimes I like that where it's like, yeah, I want to try new things or like do this or that. But other times like I really want to have something I can like that's consistent that I can go back on and like help me get work done at the end of the day. Because if you're not consistent, it's harder to get work done sometimes, and that's just like a unfortunate fact of the matter there. But yeah, I mean, giving things time is one way to help too. So if you're feeling jealous or like it's not working out, just give it time and then look back. But within all of this, you have to have that like pragmatic view and like analyze things in a pragmatic way. Otherwise, you're not going to learn from it and you're not going to get better. So that's really important and really key. And to avoid falling into that trap, like I was saying, go with your gut, just start and just do it. So to kind of like close things out here, you know, for me, like knowing that my tastes and my perspective will change ends up being like a huge relief. And not talking about style, but like the things I like or the things I'm enjoying, the things I'm consuming, whether it's art or music, content, anything. Like knowing that while I'm going to have things that I always go back to or things that I will always like, finding new things and knowing that my tastes and my likes are going to change a little bit just like gives you a level of comfort that is really nice, because I know that something I may be jealous of one day, like I won't be the next. If I get to the point where I'm feeling okay with it, or just for whatever reason, like, oh, I don't really like that person's style anymore. Like I liked it more then, but like I think it just looks okay now. Like, you know, you'll come to terms with it in some way. So for the time being, instead of being jealous or envious of someone, think about how cool it is that they're succeeding and use that positive mental energy to like spur on your own motivation. Because like with all that time that you might spend woe is me and moping about, like you could have made something and you could have gotten closer to your goal or improved in some way, you know, like basically just don't beat yourself up and just stay motivated. And if you can pragmatically look at other people's work and think about how cool it is that they're at the point in their life or career where they are, and like use that as like a nice motivator for yourself. If you can do that, you really should, and I think it's gonna make you improve at a way faster rate if you're not doing that. But if you're someone who just gets consumed by the jealousy or the envy, like I understand, it's totally okay, but at the very least you have to be true. You have to be true to yourself, and you have to like don't lie to yourself. Look at your own work and be pragmatic in looking at your own work and seeing how you can improve or how you have improved over time, and following that path and getting even better. But yeah, so that is my thoughts on the idea that jealousy can be a motivator used as constructive jealousy. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I hope this little bit shorter episode was good again. We'll try and do a couple more like this, and I had a lot of fun talking about this topic, and at the end of the day, talking about these things kind of helps me work through them myself, so I'm getting something out of it as well. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Doodle Talk episode 6. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.